I'm Mike, so I understand you're going to be working at one of our locations. First, there's some things you need to know about Republic Services and the job you might be doing. At Republic, we understand the hazards of the work that we do. That's why we do everything we can to protect anyone who works for us. First, let me introduce Sherry. She'll be helping me out today.
Thanks, Mike. Before we get into the specifics of the job, let's talk about safety. Our number one priority is for everyone to return home each night the same way they left. We believe if we train you on safe work practices and teach you to think about the risks and hazards associated with the job, then you can choose to do the job safely. Safety ultimately depends on you. It's important that both your mind and your body are ready. So, let's talk about the body. Come to work well rested, and before work, stretch to warm up the muscles. This helps prepare your body for the work and lessens your chance for injury. You should stretch before work and periodically throughout the day to keep your muscles warm and ready to go. While we're talking about our muscles, remember to use correct lifting techniques. Your legs are stronger than your back, so keep your back straight, knees bent, and lift with your legs. Pushing an object is always safer than pulling it, so push objects whenever you can. The technique for both is the same. The key is anchor points, and it begins on the ground. First, make sure your feet are stable and you're not going to slip. The second anchor point is your hips. Let your hips slide back, make contact with the object, and then thrust forward with the hips as you push the object. Keep your shoulders anchored and thrust off with your feet so that your back is protected. Remember, feet on the ground, hips back, shoulders anchored. Push or pull from this position and you'll be safe. However, on heavy loads, be sure to ask for help and do a team lift. Don't attempt to lift anything that exceeds your personal lifting capabilities. If it's too heavy and there's no one to help you, then leave the load and notify a supervisor.
To prevent injuries or falling while climbing in or out of the truck or equipment, use 3 points of contact. That means you must keep both hands and one foot or both feet and one hand on the truck at all times while climbing up or out of the truck. When you get out of the truck, you're going to get out the same exact way. Oh, and by the way, Republic only allows authorized personnel to operate a truck or a piece of equipment. If you're not authorized, don't touch it. Here's Sherry to cover a few more important safety topics.
To protect our employees from the accidental startup or release of stored energy, we use lockout-tagout procedures. If you see a lock or a tag on any equipment, don't touch it. If the equipment is needed for your job, contact a supervisor. Situational awareness is critical, whether you work at a recycling center, landfill, transfer station, or even on a collection route. You'll be working around heavy and light equipment, large trucks, and cars. Always be aware of your surroundings and pay close attention to heavy equipment and trucks. Never assume that just because you can see them, they can see you. They can have huge blind spots, so stay clear of all moving equipment and never wander from your assigned work area. If you're working on a route truck, be aware of other drivers because they may not see you. Even though they look out for pedestrians, the trucks have blind spots. We also have a hazardous communication program. You won't typically come into contact with chemicals or other hazardous materials in your job at Republic, but you should be aware of things that we cannot accept in the waste. Be sure to notify your driver or supervisor if you come across any of these products: paint, pool chemicals, batteries, propane cylinders, and oil, just to name a few. If you have questions about anything in the waste stream, be sure to ask your driver or a supervisor. Mike?
Regardless of where you work, Republic Services does not permit its employees, contractors, or contingent workers to scavenge for materials in the waste. If it's in the trash, leave it there. Now, let's talk specifically about the hazards of the job you'll be doing. Ask your facilitator to choose the environment for where you'll be working.